To be here with Team Fast because I'm so honored to be here with Team Fast because I remember the day Kenny flew out and he had just joined EXP, and then he had asked me to coach him because we had done expansion a few years back, and then getting on to their leadership call and figuring out what everyone did and said that you guys will make history. There will be no doubt that you guys will make history. And sure enough, a year and a half later, we grew this crazy thing that people doubted us from the very beginning. And it just makes me smile that you guys are all here showing up, ready to tackle this next cycle. And so today I want to give you guys a few models. And I know Elias wants me to talk about visibility, but I always love to give frameworks. I always love to give context to things, because anytime that I evaluate a business, whether we're buying a business, whether we're partnering up with somebody, whether we're looking at a business, at the end of the day, all of you guys run a business. You can, and this is the best business that I think you can get into, because you can make as much money as you want, and you can actually have the freedom if you have the right systems in place. And so there is a lot of talk with this market shift. And what I will say is, who knows what it's going to be? I've been in this industry for over 2 decades. I actually started my career in the Bay Area, in Union City. I was born actually in Oakland and had my first real estate team, one of the very first probably in the Bay Area, all by necessity because I was going to college at the time. And so I saw something today and I thought it resonated really well. And I think I'm going to open it up with this. What we do determines our success and not the market. So I want to give you guys permission to not listen to the noise. Right now, it's all about the activities that you do that will carry you through the cycle. And somebody said, I think it was Nikosi, about foundation is key, right? And I just love when people are hungry. I love it because you can take anybody that's motivated, that's driven, and teach this business like there's nobody's business. And so today I'm going to share my screen, and let me know if you guys could share my screen, because I always want to give you guys framework. Because if you're going to scale a business, I don't care where you're at, whether you're a new agent, yeah. And then if you can't see it really big, go on the speaker view in your top right-hand corner. Cool. So if you are a new agent, or if you're a $50 million producer, this applies to you. And I want you to think about it. And I wish somebody told me about this when I was first starting my business. Whenever you're scaling a business, whenever you're scaling a system, whenever you're scaling a team, it's going to come down to 4 things. And I just want to give you guys real fast framework. First, it's going to be, what do you have you standardize? Standardize in your business today. How do you take listings? How do you show up? How do you show up on social media? How do you do open houses? How do you prospect? Have you standardized it? Because when there is repetition, when there is routine in your business, you can easily tweak it and scale what works and what doesn't work. Second is you've got to optimize it. Okay. People leave money on the table. People start to buy leads. People are going to start to buy leads, especially in this next shift. I would say take a look at your business first before you buy leads, because you may be leaving money on the table even during escrow, like if it came down to referrals, or if it's in your lead conversion and you got a leaky bucket, right? So optimize. And then when you have those 2 things is like, how do we keep growing the business? So this is where we can start to add. I know a lot of you guys are talking about Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like what do I add and when do I add it? Because you can open up the floodgates for a lot of different things. And when your back end or your systems aren't in place, even if you hired a VA to just take over something, like it will be a hot mess. Agree? And I'm sure some of you guys have done that. So it comes down to growth, and then you can start to scale your business. Okay. So I think this is just good, is let's think about how people decide to work with you today. Again, I've been in this industry for a really long time, and I'm seeing shifts. I have the privilege of coaching some of the top brokerages and teams across the landscape of real estate. So it's not just DXP, it's everything. I'm seeing what's happening behind the scenes because I'm being a consultant for some of these tech companies right now, and I'm seeing what they're doing on the back end, and that's going to come forward. All these products, right? And I see a lot of you guys show up on social media, but I think it's really important of how consumers today choose their agent. One, they're obviously researching, so it's going to come down to brand and personality. People always say they don't care about what you know. They want to care that they do business with whoever they like, know, and trust. And so it's going to come down to brand and personality. And this is why I think social media platforms today are taking off in our industry. Second, it's going to come down to expertise. Some of you guys might be new agents. You guys are on the best team, on the largest team in Northern California. I would leverage the heck out of that. There's a lot of people that you could collaborate with, but it's going to come down to expertise. Yesterday, and then that's when you get hired. So yesterday, Elias and I were talking about some things for Cabo. And I think this is really important. It's like, where do I focus my time and energy in this shift? And so if you think about it, back in the days, people used to interview 3 or 4 realtors before they were selling a house. Today, they're Googling you, but even more so today, I think people are going on your social media. They're trying to figure out what your personality is before they invite you to your home. And what I think is really interesting is that if you ever put your name in Google today, and I just did this not too long ago because we have been talking about this in our mastermind. Before, it used to be Zillow that would come up. And then now it's probably LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok. Why? Because the algorithms to that software, to those companies are driving the results, right? And so when we think about visibility in our business today, what I think is really cool is that you can utilize these platforms to go deep into your database, to go deep into your relationships, to go deep into building connections. A lot of people right now are looking at your Instagram, at your social media platform, and they're deciding maybe it's in December that they're going to sell or buy, maybe it's in October, but they are watching you, even if they're not commenting, even if they're not liking, because your best client is a client that's waiting on the sidelines right now, right? And what I think is really cool is it's taken marketing to a whole new level in our industry. Before it was postcards, then it went to pay-per-click, and then it went to, now it's like, how do we create video content into, capturing an audience? And I was talking about this with my mastermind, is like, it's now time to really think, for those that have been in the business for a really long time, we got lucky these last 3 years or these last 4 years, because you didn't need skills, or you didn't need to really be as organized as you have to be in this next shift. And what I mean by that is you may have to tweak some things. We have actually looked, because we have a network of agents that work for us, and we have tweaked some things in our business today. Let me give you guys some example for those that have production, that have business. We are doing more touches in the escrow process. We used to automate all the emails, all the text messages, but we're actually picking up the phone today. Why? Because there's fear in the market. And when there is fear, right, they get advice from everything else besides you. When you can lower fear, you build trust, right? And you become the expert, and you can guide them through that. So that's one. The other thing that we're doing is we're being very purposeful about pointing things. It's no wonder that some of our agents that work in our network are killing it brand new, right? We are pointing things and to the content that they've already created. 5 reasons you need to know when buying a home in this crazy market, right? Has my value gone down on my home, right? We're really thinking about, what are the consumers thinking about today, and how can we educate them versus them going on Google, because we are the voice in our local market. And what I think is really cool is that everybody has the opportunity to do this with organization every single day, to be the voice of the community, to be the voice of real estate. Because guess what? If I was going to buy a home in Huntington Beach or in the Bay Area, the first thing that I would actually do is probably not go on Google, is probably go on social media. Because we got to think about who's buying homes today. Yes, you have some baby boomers. Yes, you've got some different generations, but a lot of people are actually looking at hashtags and looking at who's producing the most content. Why? Because they feel that they're relevant. It's no longer a computer system, right? And so they're figuring out your personality because of the content that you create. And it is no wonder that for the first time in our industry, we are actually seeing agents get monetized from some of these channels because they're producing content. So I think visibility is a way to open up your store and your business to let the world know that you are still doing real estate. It is a quicker reach than calling every single person. I'm not saying do not call your database, but it's something you can do every day. If all of your clients followed you, and even if they didn't, and if you had strategy behind it all, that they would see your ring at the top if you did a story. They would somehow see your feed, right? It's no wonder that some of these big companies are buying ads today on some of these platforms to steal our clients. So I think if somebody was to ask me, what are some of the things we can do in today to prepare ourselves ahead of the curve of whatever is going to happen? And so here's some of the things that I would write down. Number one is all of you guys have a CRM, thanks to Team Fast, and you guys have a lot of tools. I would figure out how to use some of those tools because some of those tools are extremely powerful. And I know they got Tech Tuesdays or something. So that'd be one, is I would organize my database. Two is I would double down and expand my database, like double the size if you can. Because right now, as we look, and I'm a big believer in data. So I always look at data rather than making emotional decisions so that I can see with my teams that we coach and the people that are in our masterminds that when you have data, you actually can pivot and make these changes before the market catches up. Right. And so what's really cool is that if you doubled your database, a lot of people are saying increase your activity. So if you were used to making 20 calls, you probably should be at 30 or 40. Why? Because you might have more competition with fewer leads. I have an insider at Zillow Flex and some of these tech companies, right? Redfin, they're down 20 to 30% in inquiries. And that's a lot, right? And so they're going to start firing some of the agents that are not getting back. And so I think that number one is organize your database so that you can start to optimize it. Two is expand your database. And then three is I would increase your visibility. I would think of social media as like you opening up your store. If you had a boutique store, a cookie store, or a pizza store, right? Like there is a routine when they open up that store. And when you open up your social media, it is a routine, right? It is not to just scroll. There is there's strategy behind it. And it's just telling the world that you're available for any questions. You're available and you still do real estate. And then the other thing I would do is I would optimize for those that have business today. I would think about how are you guys doing open houses? Are you just showing up? Or do you actually have a model? I decide on Sunday, which is my open house, or I know a house is going on the market on Thursday, but Monday I'm doing a Facebook event and then I'm driving traffic to it, or I'm buying leads, or I'm doing pay-per-click. Tuesday, I'm door knocking, or I'm putting a QR code on my writer. I mean, there is strategy for you to optimize any inventory, or even if you are in a pending contract representing a buyer, because they know that you've already sold something or about to close something in the neighborhood. So how do we extend that runway? How do we double our leads by our listings or what we have currently in escrow? And my last but not least is I would definitely align myself with people in this next market or in this next cycle. And Elias said, you can't grow in isolation. And I would say, I would also find those people that have been through this shift, because the most powerful leaders in this next shift will lead their crew, will lead their teams, regardless of whatever the market does. I'm actually really, really excited for this next shift. I'm down to like embrace it all, because I think there's massive opportunity, and people that can see opportunity in every market will win. And I think you guys are in the best community. So keep showing up, because how you show up, you just never know what could happen when you just keep showing up. I try to like condense it, Elias, in like 10 minutes or less to leave it for Q&A.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And shout out to you, Ernesto. I appreciate you updating the chat with everything that Raquel is saying. Let's hear from you guys. Let's open up the mic. Let's utilize this time. Let's ask Raquel any questions that are brewing, anything that you wrote down. Take yourself off of mute or just raise your hand and I'll go around the room. Who has a question for Raquel? Because I'm sure your thoughts are spinning right now. Joellen, what's on your mind?
I'm just super excited for this shift. I went through the meltdown in 2008, losing appraisals left and right, crying with clients. And now like I've had time to build my database, work on Facebook ads, get my systems in place to actually dominate that part, to now I'm ready to like take on all the clients. So I'm super excited.
Love it. Absolutely love it, Joellen. Nicole, you had your hand up, and you guys feel free to put your hand up, like utilize this time. This is a really, really important conversation. So Nicole, go ahead.
I was wondering, or could I get an example? You mentioned like in the strategy for open houses, and that's something that I'm like really trying to pour into right now, because it seems like the leads that move from me are those that I meet at open houses. So you mentioned doing like a Facebook event leading up to it. Like what types of things do you do on, like what do you mean by that? Or how do you work that?
Love the question, Nicole. And I would agree with you 100%. Face-to-face conversion is always the best when you can build relationships. So even getting out and doing open houses and being in the community, you could really optimize that whole event. So I think of open house as if it was a party or an event. We don't just show up just to put signs the day of. There's some strategy behind it. So I would think about, could we put a rider on, let's say Monday, with a QR code that points back to, even if it's a Google form, if you don't have your website set up, so that you can capture some leads. Open house, Saturday, 1 to 4, QR code, more information, or open house, more information, QR code. Because guess what you're getting? You're getting drive traffic. Everybody that drives by that, and you're announcing to whoever's already in the neighborhood, or who's driving, or who's even shopping, maybe shopping for that house in the neighborhood, you're getting some of that capture. So you want to think about, this is my store and this is my inventory. How do I maximize the crap out of it, right? Tuesday, I would think about, could you put something out to your database? Guess what I'm doing on Saturday is your headline. I don't care if it's somebody in the market. I don't care if it's one of your past clients. It's like, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Even if you want to do individual video notes, whatever you do, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Have lunch on us. Stop by. We're going to be at 123 Main Street from 1 to 4. I'd love to see you and the kids. It's been a while, right? There goes your sphere touch. You guys may not be in the market to buy or to sell, but I want to see you guys. Right? It's almost like it's a kiosk for you or store for you, right? There's neighborhood. You can actually invite the neighborhood a couple hours before and decide, hey, this is an exclusive just for the neighborhood. I'd love to kind of get to know you guys. We're doing an open house, stop by, yada, yada. Right? And so You can door knock too. You can call, you can door knock. I would do a live story. I do a poll. You want engagement. So the whole thing is not just to post, but you want to put in your stories stickers or utilize some of the algorithm that these platforms have done, right? So this kitchen, do you like this? Yes or no, whatever, right? Guess what the price is of this home. Guess how many offers we got, contests, whatever. Was that helpful, Nicole?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then also as far as with the alignment, so what I've been doing lately, I joined the neighborhood council in one of the zip codes that I farm, and they're a sister neighborhood to the other that I farm. So that puts me like in front of the head of that neighborhood council a lot. And I started joining like all the city meetings, like the projects and stuff like that, so that those people recognize me. So now I've started making my open houses like a party. So I invite the chair of the neighborhood council, I invite lenders. I have someone that's with waste management that wants to come and talk about when they do the bulky drop off days and stuff like that. Because I host monthly cleanup events. So I felt that would kind of like tie all that together. But that way I feel like it warms the open house. You're still showing the house, but it's not like, here's the flyer, give me a call,
That's a perfect example of optimizing an opportunity. Perfect example, right? Could you invite other people that are on your team to give them information, right? Could you, like, it's always best if they're in an HOA. So we had one where it was the HOA president that decided to kind of hang out with us. And it's cool because you get to when you have those connections, you can really dominate the neighborhood really fast.
Love it. I absolutely love it. And Nicole, really smart. Nice. I'll come to you in a moment. But something I think would work, especially in the summertime right now, it's like not only a flyer, but if there's a QR code of the top things to do over the next, couple months in the summertime, here's the splash pads, here's the parks, here's the events, here's the music in the park, here's the car show. Like, so now you're doing exactly what you're saying. You're bringing the community together. It's not just about this home. I'm actually selling this community. I'm an advocate. You're going to see me. And so now you're like, here's the top 5 things. Just hit that QR code, just like at a restaurant. It's going to tell you all the top things to do while you're here in the area, right? And what else is on there? It's all of your Instagram information, your social information. So good stuff, Nicole. Nice. Let's go over to you, big dog.
I took my hand down, but no, I'll go ahead and just to kind of cover some of the things, whatever. But one of the things that, excuse me, that just to kind of piggyback off of Nicole and what Raquel do is I do open houses as well. And one of the things that I try to do is I try to make it as festive as possible. I use the open house as like an office. I put a lot of signs out, try to draw people in or whatever. One of the things that I'm also trying to do is trying to get there a little bit earlier now to be able to start doing a Facebook Live, like how you said, like on the social media thing. And so therefore, I'm kind of doing the social media and showing them the open house before the actual open house, before people start getting there. And even like when people are not there, what I'm doing is like I know a lot of people, they doing a lot of database and a lot of research and stuff like that, but I try to utilize the space to be able to do to create content as well. As far as like, especially like if they have it staged nice, I use the nice backdrop and I try to create content to be able to post on social media. But one of the challenges that I'm having is that I'm kind of relocating, or I'm going back and forth from Sacramento to San Francisco in the Bay Area in general. But San Francisco and Sacramento open houses are a lot different. They're totally different. And one of the, excuse me, I think that the demographics of being in 2 different locations, and one of the things that I'm learning is that San Francisco or the Bay Area is very competitive as far as the open houses. And I'm used to going outside of the brokerage and doing open houses for other brokerages. But it seems like that is just not even allowed in like the Bay Area or whatever. They're like clicked up or whatever. And so I guess it's like team fast against everybody, right? So it seems like that's one of the.
Here's the thing, and I'm glad that you bring this up, and Eric King can chime in on this. there is definitely agents that are picking up open houses from other brokerages on the team right now. And although the markets may be different, the activities can be exactly the same, right? The way that you're promoting it, the way that you're doing your video, the way that you're talking about it, the way that you're knocking on doors, all the activities are the absolute same. If you want help finding like the top ways to look at new opportunities and to help somebody out to say, hey, you know what, let me give you back your weekend, and Ernesto could chime in on this. Let me give you back your weekend. I'm in the area, I can host the house. I have this, I have the, you know, energy, the time, the effort to do that. I want to give you back your weekend. I would love to hold your open house for Saturday and Sunday if you have that available. Right. And it's winning. And Ernesto could chime in on this because it's a script that he uses to do just that, nice to find the opportunities that are outside of our brokerage, and it's actually working for him. So maybe
Yeah, it's really cool that you said that, Elias. And one of the first thing that we talked about, right, was standardizing a model in your business. And when you can show that to other agents or other brokers, even outside of your brokerage, you win. It's like you almost like win before you arrive, because they see you as organized, they see you as professional, they see like what you're going to do, and you're not going to take their listing and potentially get them canceled or ruin that relationship with that seller, because you have an organized model of how you guys do open house. I think another thing is, and Ernesto, I'll definitely get to you, is there is going to be some cancellations, if you guys haven't seen it yet, expireds that are going to come back into the market. So if I was doing an open house in a neighborhood today, I'd be extremely purposeful about those houses and leaving them a door drop of your information, notes to come by the open house, and just, I would definitely keep an eye. And there's obviously some other things that you can do to get their attention, whether it's take a picture of their house, right? Because when you see your own house on a postcard or in a send out card, you actually will open it and go, what did they say? So there's a lot of different ways that you can be creative, but it's knowing that some of those things are already in the neighborhood. So why not pull up the expireds? Why not pull up the cancellations? Or why not pull up the things that got leased out a year ago? Because a lot of investors are cashing out right now.
Good stuff. And good thoughts, Nias. I appreciate you. Ernesto, let's go over to you, big dog.
Yeah, I was going to share. Yeah, Raquel, we haven't met, but I'm very familiar.
Ernesto, will you turn your mic up just a scotch, bro?
Up a little bit?
Low. Yeah, up a little bit.
How about now? Is this better?
Way better.
Awesome. Raquel, we haven't met, but I'm familiar with the work that you do and some of the other people that you coach. And so for other people on this call, even for me, I think about like the open house strategy, and I think about like standardizing. So if just like picking up on some of the success that other teams are having with what Raquel is advising, and the impact that I've seen and how it's impacted, like even the way that I think. There's another team called Kinetic Real Estate, guy named Kevin Cruz, who I've known for probably 12, 15 years. We go way back. And like, I've been watching how they do their open houses, and every open house is like an event. And there's a guy named Ed Barretto, who's a newer agent, has like over 30 escrows. He's crushing it. And I saw that they had this listing in San Jose. It was like a $4 million listing, and they threw this full on party. They had tacos, they're giving away jewelry. Like it was an actual like event. And then he had another listing. It was a condo in Richmond, and it was, about $600,000 to $50,000, which is kind of a modest price point. But he did the same thing. I was like, for a condo, this guy threw a party. This guy gave away a giveaway to Napa to like encourage people to show up. And so, if you're wondering, do people actually do this? Absolutely. It's super successful in how it's impacted me. I had to ask myself that question. So for me, like I will never have a listing where we don't stage and have awesome photography and all that good stuff. So like the imagery is always going to be really, really high quality. But I really had to check myself. Would I have the same level of enthusiasm for my condo listing coming up in Concord versus like my higher ticket listing coming up in Richmond, probably in the next like 2 months? And I was like, you know what? Honestly, I don't know that I would. So I love just kind of piecing it all together and just kind of copying what other people are doing and really following the teams that Raquel is coaching and watching what they're doing and how they're implementing it and having really good success has actually been really, really helpful for me.
Thank you so much, Ernesto. Yes, if you don't know, I think there are people that really take action and really impress you. And Ed is probably one of them. If you follow him, he has taken anything that I have taught and taken it and executed it. And I think you guys are learning so much with what Team Fast does is you've got to execute. Those that execute will win. You can have all the knowledge, you can have all the pretty systems, but if you can't execute, then it does you no good, right? It's almost like a waste of time. And people need your value. People need your service. And I think what was really cool is if you look at some of, and then here's another thing with social media and brand, I said, you cannot do any more just listed, just sold. So if you look at his stuff, it's like he actually speaks about a story of their clients, because emotions, when you can connect with people on emotion, then yes, is Kenny still here? When emotions, you actually, even if they don't know you, they'll resonate with you, right? So like if you look at his just listed, he's actually almost done with his 30. He's got enough. He's given these and people have been following those Tiffany boxes, which I thought was really cool that he implemented. So you can get really creative just with visibility.
Totally. And somebody I've seen on the team like elevate their open houses. Like, look at Jen. Jen's a top producer. She's built a tremendous business. What did Jen do? She went and I don't know if she bought it or leased it or borrowed it. She has a champagne cart and it's the cutest thing ever. And she has a DJ out there on the roof playing music and has all these themed things. And people are, was this a party or is this I don't know, but I'll drink the champagne. This is a nice house. I can't afford it, but maybe I can afford something else. But like creating an atmosphere. I love it and standardizing it. So good stuff. Let's go to one other person. Let's go to PK. You had your hand up and then we'll kind of let Raquel get on out of here because I know she's got a busy day. So PK, good to see you here. Go ahead.
One thing that I've been trying to do for open houses, and regardless of whether it's my listing or somebody else's listing, is I try to find local, whether it's in Martinez, Oakland, wherever the house is, I find local businesses and I go to them midweek and I say, I have an open house and I have probably 30 people are going to show up and I want to promote your brand and, what can you do for me? And a lot of them are actually giving me boxes of cookies, cupcakes with their business cards or with their packaging. And I mean, 20 or 30 cookies or cupcakes for a business is not that much. And if they can get in front of, people in their community and just advertise and have people taste it, it really means nothing to them. So it gives me an opportunity to go back to the client or consumer and say, hey, by the way, this amazing local business. So I'm like promoting a local business. And then I'm going back to the local business and I'm saying, hey, guess what? Everybody loved your shit. They took your card. They're going to have a party and they're going to come back to you. And I'm literally establishing myself as the community expert. The other side of it is I have a signature scent for every single open house. And I know that a lot of people on social media said, oh, I'm allergic. I would never come to your open house. I mean, that's fine. You can, there will be people that are allergic, but believe it or not, everybody that walks in there like, oh my God, what is the smell? I'm obsessed. Like it gives me an opportunity to talk to them. I think more often than not, I used to go to open houses and just stay in the corner and say, hi, let me know if you have any questions, just like a sales rep at a store. And people would be like, thank you, I don't need help. And then I was like, you know what? You're coming to my open house. I want to talk to you. This is an opportunity. And then another one is music. Like I always have music and it's a mellow music. It's not like a dance party, but a lot of people come and they're like, is there music? Like, what is that? So as long as you're creating some sort of a curiosity or a point where people are like, what is that? That's it. Like all I need is for them to ask me a question and then I will never stop talking.
I love it. I love it. And I love that Christina put the Latin jazz on there. and somebody had mentioned Eric King. Eric King on one of his most recent videos, it really felt like a short movie, right? You see them working on an old truck in the driveway. It's like Boys of Summer. And like it really felt like Boys of Summer, Don Henley, like kind of took you back. You're like, man, this is cool. Like this is nostalgic USA rock and roll. Like I want to go to that. I'm just curious to see the listing in person because that video that they dropped was so cool. they look cool. Man, let me go check that out, right? It became a thing that you wanted to go and see, or at least just watch the preview. So really good stuff. Melody, you had your hand up, and we could actually take 2 more and then we'll come full circle. Raquel said that she could stay for a few more minutes. So Melody, let's go to you, contribute. Eric Kang.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that if you have found group coaching today with Raquel valuable and something that you can implement into your business right away, she is an absolute master at what she does. And that's one of the reasons why I've invited her to come out. So she's going to be at our Oakland headquarters tomorrow from 10 to 1 p.m. If you guys want to meet her in person, mastermind with her, network with her, ask her about her coaching program. She is going to be there live in person. She's flying all the way out from Scottsdale, Arizona, which is where she lives. And this is a huge deal. This is very, very important. So I invite all of you guys to join the Market Shift Mastermind. There has been a change. It's going to be in the Oakland office, not in Walnut Creek anymore, because we have 150 plus people RSVP'd, and we just don't have the space in Walnut Creek to handle that many amazing agents. So I just wanted to send out that reminder to everyone. And I also sent out an email for those of you that have registered. So I hope to see you guys in person tomorrow, and lunch will be served.
All right, cool. So good stuff, Melody. And then any thoughts or contributions for the conversation today that you want to provide?
Took a lot of notes. Tomorrow's going to be great.
Awesome. Awesome. Eric King, let's go over to you.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm in an Uber. Can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear. And Jeff will come to you now. Loud and clear.
First and foremost, Raquel, I've been following you. Obviously, if Kenny is using you as a coach, you must be an excellent world-class coach, and you absolutely are, because I am taking away so much from this. One of the things someone mentioned was Team Fast against whatever, the world or whatever, right? And I want to back that, but right now I think it's a time to be aligning with other agents and making relationships, so getting offers accepted because you have good rapport with other agents in the marketplace. And we're all here to do the same thing, which is buy and help people buy and sell homes, right? So align yourself with the people in your market. Second of all, Raquel, you mentioned something, collaboration over competition all day, Nikosi. One of the things you mentioned, Raquel, was leveraging the pendings you have. Obviously, if you have a listing that's pending, you send out pending postcards, pending posts and all that. But when you're working with a buyer, how do you leverage your pending to get more business?
Yeah. So a lot of times, well, thank you, number one, Eric, for saying that it's not Team Fast against the world. And I think as we go into this shift, what I've noticed and what I've done before is get into the rooms, whether it was short sales or REOs, because even if you already knew that topic, it was about the connections in the room. And I'll tell you that some of the people that I know that are coming to the event, it's who you connect with and how you can actually align yourself and collaborate with each other, regardless of brokerages, because they may give you an edge if you are competing. And I've seen it over and over is, if there's a lot of offers. So definitely I would say, keep showing up. You guys have a lot of events. You just never know who you're going to meet and when where your next opportunity is going to come from. So with pending, I would say there's a lot of ways that you can maximize a pending that I think people don't always utilize. So if it was number one, when you are in escrow, if you have a script, if you've set up expectations, I think number one, there are referral moments in a transactions where it's like a movie. It's like you stage certain points because we've standardized the process and where we're going to ask for referrals. So let me give you some quick examples. Congratulations, your offer has been accepted. We could do a little bit of celebrating. I know there might be some people that may approach you about fear in the market, like, why are you guys buying a house, right? And here's what I know, right? You want to set the expectation. So one is when we say congratulations and if we save them money or we won that offer, it's like, who else do you know that has been thinking about buying, selling, or investing? That's one opportunity. Like you already have them on the phone, right? And you have to also, I mean, like there's ways that you can do it. Like referrals are the lifeblood of my business, right? I'm all about relationships, whatever it is. Second would be at inspections. You negotiate inspections. If it's not as is, you save them a ton of money. It's another opportunity for you to say, hey, we just got you a new roof. We saved you over $15,000. Who else do you know that doesn't have an agent that actually cares about how much they save in a transaction and gets them the best deal, even in this crazy market? Appraisal, when the appraisal is over, then you know, it's a happy moment. Anytime that you are delivering happy news to your client, it's an opportunity for you to ask for referrals or to put that plug, right? And so I think even like as you set up the signing, so one of the things that I've gotten a lot of our teams to do, and it's just from experience, is we would send out our reviews, testimonials at the end, and we would be chasing them after like they moved in. Who could agree, or who has ever done that, where you're sending their like your Zillow link and then you're just like, oh, they didn't fill it out. Well, it's probably because they have a lot of things in their head and a lot of moving parts with movers, with setting up utilities. So we actually do it right after the appraisal, before even signing. And if we don't get it, then our escrow officer basically asks for the review, right? So it's just a way to establish, again, your credibility online, your visibility, and it's just having things standardized and figuring out where could we ask for referrals. When the property closes, right? You can put a sign in the yard, welcome your new neighbors. You can do a just sold postcard because you represented the buyer. You could put a QR code. You know, you could do a lot of different things. So those are just some of the ways that like you can take, and then you can even talk about it on live. You can talk about it like, hey, have you been frustrated not getting an offer accepted? Here's my clients on 123 Main Street, yada, yada. Like you can craft a story.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's go to one more person. Jeff, you had your hand up, big dog. Let's go to you.
Yeah, quick fire. First of all, love to give roses to people while they're still here to smell them. So thank you so much for this today. It's been amazing. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, hearing more, connecting with you. I know you were saying like on social media, like the standards and like your standards about like just not having it where it's just scrolling mindless type thing on your page. Like, is there a standard? Because your page is very aesthetically pleasing. Like, is there something that you use or a standard that you set for when you're posting and how you're posting and how you're thinking of it that helps you with the aesthetics of your page as well?
First, I don't do it. So somebody else does it, and it's in a work in progress. But I think more importantly, even in today's like world of where even this brand stuff and this visibility is going to go with like blockchain, and that's a whole nother topic, and like NFTs, is like I would post for consistency, but I would post in regards to, and I was going to see if I had something that I can kind of just show you guys. Like if we were talking about Instagram, let's just say Instagram, for example, don't post just to post is, and I think it's like, you got to figure out your system, right? And so let me just show you this because I think visuals always help us, is if you're going to post an IG live. So I always think of like, where do we get our revenue? Like when I look at a business, it's like, how are they creating revenue, right? What are they doing? What is the agent doing right now that's getting them clients? So if we were to even just take Instagram, for example, if we're posting reels or live, because you could probably get a lot of people that can hop on, or new people, especially if you do it with somebody else, or if you do a post or you do a story, is like, where are you directing them? Because I believe that if you can get them in your DMs lead to conversations, but DMs to your CRM is a lot easier, right? So our thing is not about likes, our thing's not about comments. It's just us showing up consistently and having conversations. And I know that I've seen a lot of you guys on this call is some of you guys I've spoken to on DMs. Like those are really important to us right now as a team. It doesn't matter which business, if we can get them into our DM to our CRM, it's a lot better conversation, right? And so I think it's, what are we posting and how, like strategically, what is our process? Because at the end of the day, we want to expand our database. We want to work with people that we can connect with, right? So this was just like a guideline that we taught in our mastermind of like how we take something and really strategize it so that we can optimize it later.
Thank you.
Was that helpful, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about aesthetics today because look at Gary V's.
All right, guys. So I'm sure that you found this valuable, and our hope and our intent is that you take one thing out of today, right? I'm sure you have notes. I'm sure you have thoughts. I'm sure you have ideas. What do we always say? We are paid in this business in direct correlation to the action that we actually take. So when you come to group coaching, you hear something that's like, oh, Raquel, I can do that, or I want to do that, or I'm going to do that. Like, take one thing from today that you can go and implement your business. We talked about like doubling down and tripling down. If you had an amazing year, if you've had an amazing start to the year, or if you're just getting started, this is the time where intensity has to be raised. Your level of connections have to be raised. Your amount of phone calls are going to have to be raised because we are in a changing market. So you have to change, you have to adjust, you have to start thinking about things differently. And so don't try to take, oh my God, like that's too high level, Raquel. No, it's like take one thing from your page of notes and say, that's what I'm going to go do today, right? I already had a thought. Like, my mom always told me life is not fair and it's never going to be fair. But what I think is more fair now is our market, right? And then, like, I love what you said about the pending. It's like, not just, hey, pending, like, what was the strategy? How did you help the consumer look at the disclosures? How did you help them understand an SPQ, a TDS? What was the strategy that helped you get your offer accepted? And if you're somebody out there that is struggling and you need to find a home, you need some help, and you need an advocate, I'm your person. Like, I love that messaging, right? To tell the story and to take a note out of Ed's book versus saying, hey, I got a pending. Right? What is the story behind that? So, Raquel, mad love for you, mad respect, appreciate you being here. Super, super grateful. Any parting words before you head out?
Don't forget to play bigger. I'm excited to connect with all of you. And I think it's never been easy in our industry to connect with people because of social media. So if you gotten value, please tag me, shoot me a DM, because I'd love to shout you out in front of my community. And I'd love to connect with you because I'm always looking for talent in my world.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate you. We will see you in Mexico
tomorrow, and I will see you in Mexico.
That's right. That's right. Looking forward to having her at Melody's event. You thought this week was great. You guys, tomorrow's going to be full tilt. It's going to be in person. They have an amazing agenda. I mean, Jeremy's going to be there. It's going to be an amazing, amazing session. So say hi, Lily. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else that anyone has to contribute to today's sesh, I want to tell you guys, I am truly, truly grateful for you, more than you'll ever know. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. A little sneak peek at what's next for next week. We have this guy. I'm sure you have seen him. I'm sure you have seen one of his videos or follow him. Quite a few of you follow him. He is going to be our guest speaker for next week. Min Nguyen will be our guest speaker for next week's group coaching session on Wednesday. So any information or questions about that, let me know. It's going to be another fire session. Raquel, sending you love, sending you light and positive energy. You guys go out there, take massive action on your business, because that's what winners do. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace. See you guys soon. Bye now.